everyone? I am ShazamO. As we stated before, this is a wonderful stream regarding about the planned rollback and also about the current state of Rose. So just a Rose update with you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We also have one of the developers with us today, Leonis.
Hello.
Awesome. And yeah, like we kind of stated before, this Twitch stream will all be about just talking about the planned rollback, what's going on with it, because a lot of you guys do have questions, and also just talking about the current state of Rose. So I want to thank I want to thank Exaltrex for providing this GIF or GIF, what have you.
I think the internet correct is GIF.
Yeah, that sounds better. GIF sounds like something a Fergie would say. So
An off-brand peanut butter.
delicious. So with that, let's just dive right into it. Once again, guys, if you have any questions regarding about the planned rollback or about anything really Rose related, we'll definitely try to get to your questions, but we're first steamroll through the planned rollback because that is on everyone's minds. So let us start off by, and once again, we do have all this posted on the forums that Leonis will definitely give a bit more insight to it. So Leonis, when is the rollback going to happen?
The rollback is not scheduled yet. We have a goal of making sure that the servers are stable, and we're going off the judgment of stable as in being online for 24 hours straight minimum, without us having to restart it or it crashing on its own. So that's our baseline as far as when we consider the server stable again. So far today has actually been pretty good. We've actually had to restart the server a couple times on our own in the past, I think near 15, 16 hours now, maybe less. Maybe I'm just doing bad math. We've actually not had to deal with a server crash. We've been the ones that do the server restarts in order to apply some updates. So it's looking a lot better than it was after the weekend, and it's giving us a lot of good hope that this coming weekend will be done with it. Right now it's speculated that tomorrow, Wednesday, will be... not tomorrow, Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow, Thursday. I knew that, and yet I looked at the clock and it said Wednesday, and then I said Wednesday. So I'm sorry.
It's been a long
Tomorrow, Thursday, will probably mark the time we will try and do a rollback if everything goes great from now till tomorrow. So earliest expectation is tomorrow will be the time we do the rollback. But again, it's going to come down to that standard of 24 hours of no interruption on our behalf or server's behalf.
So yes.
Yes.
Sorry. No, yeah. So we are all hoping for that, and Thursday would be great for all that to happen and everything goes through smoothly. Let's move on to the next thing. So I guess in short terms, what does that mean for you, the player, essentially this planned rollback?
Well, I mean, a lot of you players have seen that it's been a little bit of a mass chaos, especially since we announced the rollback. But even prior to that, there was item duplication factors happening that we thought we had already covered and fixed, but were still happening somehow. We also had a couple exploits that were providing free stuff when that wasn't intended as well. But largely the reason why, not necessarily the reason why, but the benefit at this point is that everything's going to start from the point where it was intended to be. So all the errors and mistakes that have caused problems, it's going to be undone, and then we'll start from that point where it should have started from, which was when the maintenance began, and we'll carry forward just as if nothing happened, even though it did, and you'll get a free t-shirt out of it. In-game t-shirt, I want to say. Sorry.
We're shipping overseas. I guess we can transition into that. So what kind of compensation can the players see for losing in-game time, etc., etc.?
First, for the premium account users, each day that we've been basically unstable will be credited back for lost premium time. For every other consideration, for every day that we can see an account logged in, we'll essentially be crediting a day of premium service. It's to say we're sorry for the loss of the day and any issues that you have. We'll also be doing a 50% experience boost, which is pretty large compared to some of the experience boosts we've had in the past. Double drops, and we'll continue the unlimited energy. We'll extend that out as well. We'll give the 24-hour stat and skill resets that have been widely enjoyed since we implemented that feature. So everybody can go ahead and return to like tweaking out their characters or re-exploring different builds and things like that. And then also, as I mentioned, we will be giving out a special T-shirt to jokingly commemorate the entire experience. And I'll probably throw on some sort of a bonus while that on that T-shirt for maybe a couple weeks or something, just so that it's got a bit of a usefulness to it as well, not just a look and memory to it.
And yeah, as you guys can see in the top right-hand corner, that's where the T-shirt image is. I'll just leave it up there for a little bit longer, but you can always check our forums or Facebook, just get a closer look. They look pretty cool though. Another big question that we've been getting, Leonis, is regarding about item mall. So what would happen to item mall items that players have purchased between, I guess, the 26th and now?
Okay, so it's a little complicated to explain. I'll try and make it as simple as I can. Items that you purchase go into the purchase storage, the purchase tab. That is a separate storage. It's a separate kind of database entity of its own. That has not been affected by any of this. However, if you pull something out, it now jumps into the storage and inventory and database that has been unstable. And so basically, if we do the character rollback, the items that you pull out will not automatically go back into inventory, into the purchase tab. They'll basically be gone. However, anything that you might have consumed that was already in your character inventory will be restored. And what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be looking at the logs for any items that get pulled out of the purchase tab since the servers came back up, or the maintenance was effectively done. We'll be essentially manually placing those items back in. So there won't be any loss to you in whatsoever. It should basically be just as if all your purchases were done from then till now, and any items that you gained, it'll be just as if the game servers came back up almost a week ago for maintenance. So everything should get restored. I know I had one person ask about lucky spins. There was an exploit with lucky spins. It has been fixed, and we're actually going to make sure that all gets corrected, because the logs do actually give good tracking regarding what you should have gotten as opposed to what you did get. So for anybody who did it by accident or did it for fun, that'll all get corrected as well. So don't worry about anybody potentially feeling like they're at risk of being suspended. It was a bug, and during this whole period, a lot of this is our fault. So we're going to fix it, and we're not going to make anyone suffer for it, aside from what you've already gone through, which we're terribly and immensely sorry for. We tested this on Pegasus as much as we humanly could. We begged and pleaded with the community to come play and test with us. Those that did offered lots of great feedback and bug reports, and we fixed all that. The short and sad story of why this happened is just didn't get enough people to test, and it was hard to involve a stress test when you can only get like at best 30 people, 30, 50 people, when you have a community of hundreds, hundreds of thousands actually. So the amount of stress wasn't comparable to our live servers, and there are a lot of what are called edge cases, which are very specific situations and conditions that resulted in a glitch, a bug, a visual defect, which is what we've been calling phantom items. Some items actually were duplicated, some actually just became phantom items, and there was a couple of cases where items looked as if they were something they weren't. So most of these are all getting fixed, or have been fixed at this point. So yeah, back to the original question, item stuff will get everything should get restored and corrected, so I wouldn't worry about anything. We do want to discourage you from taking anything out of your purchase tab, only because it's going to take us longer to restore those items, because it has to be done through its own separate process, and we have to do it somewhat manually. It's not an easy flip of the switch, restore like our character servers are, based on a backup. We actually have to go through the activity logs and undo or reverse trade anything that got pulled out and just put it back in. So it'll take a little longer, but it will be done, and you should get everything back that you purchased or pulled out. So yeah, there's that.
Awesome, and I'll remind everyone, guys, that you can definitely ask your questions regarding about the rollback or anything Rose in the Twitch TV chat, and we'll definitely try to get to them. So the next thing involving the rollback is, a lot of the players have been asking myself, is when will the data rollback be? When will it be to? What time? At what point will the rollback be going to? Like, what exact point? Sorry.
The exact time that the data will be restored to is basically maintenance. When we shut down the servers and after everyone was taken offline, we saved the data at that point. So whatever you had when the servers were shut down last Thursday, that's what's going to essentially come back up and online too.
All right. So hopefully everyone got that. Once again, it would be to the point of when we took down the servers, which was on June 26th at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you'll be good. All right, and another question we've been kind of getting is, so with this rollback, a few players have been asking if this would essentially undo the update that we just did. Is that the case?
No. The update itself, as far as the features, the new features, the added systems, and everything that made the update what it is going to be kept. We're still going to be implementing the update. It's just the update itself didn't go over quite so smoothly. For many of you, you discovered that your storages might have vanished and disappeared. That was not something that we ever experienced, and it took a little bit of investigation, but we figured out what it was, and it was definitely something that we would never think to test. So it was just one of those really odd edge cases, and unfortunate that it affected many people, because the moment it happened from the case, it affected the entire account. So it was just kind of unfortunate. Sorry, I'm getting a kick out of watching you spawn monsters on everybody.
Good old days.
I feel like I should respond to somebody who's very upset about losing their wooden sword.
Sure, go for it. Well, I guess I'm preferencing. Let me roll it in, because a lot of players have been asking me too. It's like, hey, scenario, I'm a new character. I just created a character maybe yesterday, and I started playing. I got to level, let's say, 60 something, and I have this much loot and this many items. What's gonna happen to my account, Leonis, and my wooden sword? And
your wooden sword. If you made a character past the point of the update, unfortunately, that character is gonna no longer exist. I would like to point out that fairly soon after the update happened, we kind of just turned on an extra experience and ridiculous experience bonuses. and bonus drops, so that you guys can kind of fool around and go explore. Maybe start taking note of what drops from where, and kind of prepare yourself for when we do actually get to have this update go full-fledged active without bugs. For the consideration of the wooden sword, I know you won't get the same one back because you have to make a new character, but you know, hopefully the new wooden sword will be just as good as your old one, and serve you the purpose of defeating the mighty jelly beans.
And you know, we can definitely say that you might not have this character, but with the drops bonus, with the EXP bonus, and with the premium bonus as well, you're definitely gonna get to that level probably within the same amount of time as you did before. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. And I guess, Leonis, if you could just speak a little bit louder with the next question.
Sorry, I'm a little congested or something in my throat. So I kind of want to make an addressment to some of the community statements I've seen here and there about how we implement bad updates. I want to kind of make it clear that if we had known this would have never gone out. We don't do any of these bad updates intentionally. In fact, I'm honestly trying to look back at the last time we had an update of this severity, and it's been a very long time.
Yeah, the skill update was nothing like this. So.
No. You know, the skill update was probably one of the larger updates that we had in the past year, and we didn't have issues of this kind of, you know, magnitude or anything like that. And nothing that we couldn't, you know, work with, and didn't, you know, affect the entire server like this. So I guess I don't necessarily take it personally, but I mean, I take it a little bit with a grain of salt, and I hope you guys all do too when you make these comments, because some other people may not really be aware that, you know, the game is not like this. You know, it's our updates and our patches have not been this bad. I mean, I will admit this is a bad update. It's been really stressful and frustrating for all of us. I cannot total the amount of hours of lost sleep that this team has gone through, because we've been at it almost, you know, a consistent 24/7 since it happened. So please try to be a little bit more objective with whatever negative posts you may want to say about the update, because there are some people who may be new and unaware of what history we have, and you're not helping by making it sound much worse than it actually is. I know this update has been bad. It's been, you know, very difficult for all of us, but please try not to make it sound like this is a normal thing, because it's not. I would ask almost anybody, when's the last time we had to do this? As far, you know, when's the last time we had to do a server-wide rollback? When's the last time the server actually like crashed more than once in maybe a day period or 2-day period or even a week?
Yeah, like I think the last time something like this has happened was back in 2012. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't like 4 or 5 days. It was like a few hours, and it was resolved, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is just a rare occurrence, I think.
I mean, and also just the size of the update itself and what it actually touches. We kind of expected that, you know, this was not necessarily a gamble, but it's like we knew the risk was going to be high for you know, defective programming, I guess you can say. You know, just things we couldn't miss. You know, Rose has become a pretty large game with all of its features and systems that are implemented to completely redo how items are handled within the game. Items are, you know, essentially like the majority of the game, because that's how you account for what you've done and accomplished. So the visuals are all just visuals. They're a small portion if you were to like compare side by side items to objects. They're a really small portion of what this, you know, this world is made up of. So it was, you know, it was a bit of a risk, but you know, the benefits from it are going to be are pretty extensive, because now once it's, you know, once the servers are stable, we'll be able to completely customize any kind of feature that we want. We can start growing on items that we want. The gem system is one of those things that we initially wanted to expand on because we couldn't. So we're looking at adding more gem types and different kind of features and functions with them that we were not previously able to do. So now it's a possibility. It's just now we're right at the moment, and right now we're dealing with cases of the update not having been tested and resulting in, unfortunately, errors. So yeah.
All right, thank you so much for that, Leonis. I'll ask you one more kind of question regarding about the planned rollback, and I guess a lot of players have been asking too regarding about it is why this rollback is happening. And for the most part, from what I understand, it's because of as you stated before, kind of how some players have lost just entire like items on their accounts, like everything on their items are gone, their storage is gone, etc. If you could just go a little bit more into detail with that, that'd be great.
Okay. The decision to actually do the server-wide rollback for character data didn't come easy. We fought tooth and nail to try and not let that be something that needed to be done, and the deciding factor came down to when we were receiving reports that storages were missing, character inventories had gone clean, just various, you know, minor missing items here and there. When we actually took a look at it on our side within the new database to see if there was something that we can identify seeing that, or we can see why people lost storage, or you know, who lost storage, or who just can't see storage. Unfortunately, we couldn't identify anything. On our end, actually, most of you actually had all of your items and all the storage, but for whatever reason, when you wanted to see it through the game client, it just wasn't showing up. So that kind of factor was the major deciding factor to us that we could not automatically fix that for you. It wasn't so much just that, you know, anybody was saying they're farming stuff, you know, things were dropping from things that they shouldn't be dropping. That kind of stuff are those, you know, those kind of things are like oops on our part when it comes to implementing like a drop change or something like that. But the fact that people were missing entire storages and, you know, years of farming and everything like that, and it wasn't so much that it was actually gone. It wasn't. It just they couldn't access it, and we couldn't see how to fix it. So there were also some cases where like items actually did disappear, and those trade cases were actually fixed. And so, being that that's all fixed now, we don't expect it to happen anymore. It's still being looked at though, just in case. But yeah, it's mainly the fact that we couldn't identify it and we couldn't fix it for you going forward. And so because of that, and with everything that's happened and all the chaos of how the database has made errors to people's inventories and damaged people's, you know, inventories and characters, we decided that restoring it back to the point of origin would be the right way to go. It also helped that there was a good large portion of the community asking for it, given their perception of how things were going in game. So it helped us feel better about making the decision, since it was something asked, you know, more or less asked for on a large scale. But the major deciding factor was the fact that we couldn't actually fix it for you the way things were going. So we're sorry for that. It's really unfortunate. But I mean, it's been nice that on the plus side, for those of you who have been playing, you've been all expressing your enjoyment over the update, even with the ridiculous rates and settings that we've put. Before we did that, there was a lot of positive feedback that was saying that the new drop system was a lot of fun. It's a lot more. It seemed a lot more balanced. The system was a lot more rewarding. But at the same time, it actually put a separation between the things that are rare and the things that are that really rare and epic and ridiculous rare. So it's added more to that, and so we're happy with that. And I saw a lot of you were enjoying the glow colors, which was really cool to watch. Some of you had some really incredible combinations of glow colors. So it was seeing things like that's rewarding to us, that you're taking it and making it a creative part of Rose and its world. So we like that, and we're glad that we're able to give that to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for answering those questions, mainly pertaining to the planned rollback that, like Leonis said before, that hopefully that we can go through with on Wednesday, crossing our fingers and crossing zombie fingers of Genesis as well.
Thursday.
Well, I said Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. Yeah, today's Wednesday.
What is okay?
It's contagious.
It's been a long week.
It has been. There was a point where actually we, various of us would be like, what day is today? What time is it? Oh, it's 4 in the morning. Wait, what day is it actually? Yeah. I gotta hand it to our programmer whose name shall not be named, and then Genesis, which you all know and love. They they really put in so many hours and have been under so much fire for getting things back online, getting things stable, and just the technical difficulties of looking for what broke takes time, and to have them fix so much in such a short period of time. I know it doesn't seem like a short period of time because it's been 4 or 5 days, but it's actually quite amazing to watch how fast they jump on top of any bug, any report, or any crash that might happen. They've been constantly on top of it. So I really tip my hat to them and give them a hand, because they've put in a lot of time. Shoot, I forgot there was something else I was gonna say, but it's been a very difficult passing week. So shoot, I think the lack of sleep is getting to me too. And I've been around trying to help them and help keep the community informed, and so I'm a bit of a loss of sleep myself, but not nearly as bad as these guys. They hit a point where they were actually taking turns sleeping for a few hours at a time, just so that they could always constantly keep going forward on fixing something, and being awake and aware for that if the servers went down, they could try and restart it right away. So yeah, it's been very fun.
Yes.
No, it's not been fun. Not been fun. Not fun. I never want to do this again.
Leonis out. Alright. Okay, and then just to kind of re-emphasize on the compenssations you guys showed before, here's the image of the t-shirts that will be given out to, I think it was a question that someone asked, it will be given out to each single account, correct? So 1 teacher per account?
Every account that is logged in during our escapades of this update will receive that in their purchase tab.
Gotcha. So everyone can get a nice good look at it. Very cool, very slick, I think it was inspired by the 90s movies, Hackers, with Angelina Jolie, so I think a lot of people will enjoy that. We definitely know Genesis loves that movie, so if you ever want to start talking with them, just mention that movie. But with that, let's kind of move on to the next topic. Well, I guess the last topic as well is, I guess, just the current state of Rose. I know you recently spoke with the person who not be named in Genesis regarding about the servers and things like that. So,
Yeah, I was getting an update regarding what's left. We have three major topics that are left that are still being looked into and addressed. One is existing reports of duping. We've seen the reports, but we have been unable to verify any of them at this point. So we're still looking into them to see if there are any situations that can still allow for it, or if it's just a visual thing, or just in general, what's up with that? Because we know that that would ruin a lot of gameplay. The other is that some people have noticed actually lately is the character saving. If you play for a while and the server shuts down, you log back in and everything that you did is lost. It's not quite the fact that we're shutting down that's causing you to lose information. It's actually a network error on the back end for us. We're doing some investigation on why it's doing that and looking for a fix and working on a fix. But yeah, in any case, it's actually more of a it's more of a back end situation where it's just the data at some point stops saving. So it's not just that we shut down. We shut down to reestablish the connection, but or restart, I should say, not shut down. So that's one of the three remaining issues, and the other one is the login speed. I'm sure every single one of you have seen how long it takes just to log in, not just to the ID and password, but like selecting a world and selecting a character. It's annoying. It's very frustrating, and the reason why is actually not quite identified yet. The speculation is there is a process that when you first log in, it's supposed to convert all your items into the new database, but we're not able to explain why it keeps taking that long after you've logged in from the first time. So that's one of those things that we're going to be looking at to see what's happening. But those are the three things. Lingering reports of item duping, the backend network stability, and then to the database, and then the login speed, because we're all used to hitting a couple buttons after you log in and just popping in, and that's not happening right now. What are you doing to everybody?
No mercy was befallen onto the players of Draconis. I summoned like I think 6 boss or king monsters in total.
Wow. Taratha is just ripping everyone apart.
Alright, let's answer a few questions from the stream, and then we'll probably end it there. And Genesis kind of answered his question a little bit, but I know that the chat can't be seen through the stream and archive views. Galactic Arrows asks, these new updates are great. What is the future of Rose? Are you guys considering to fuse servers, essentially merge servers? I know we kind of talked about this in previous streams and things like that, so...
Yeah, I don't mind talking about it again. I mean, if you want, we can just sit here and talk for the next half an hour. Yeah, we are considering a server merge. Past this point, the database update was one of those bottlenecks that we had that concerned server merging that made it impossible. Now that this is effectively a non-issue at this point, we are considering a server merge. The server merge will be announced well in advance. We still just have to go over what we're going to essentially merge. Things like character names, inventories, all that's going to be good and dandy. But we have considerations of things like limitations. For example, current limitation for account storage max is, I think, what was it, 20 pages? So if we do merge those, we have to take into consideration things like what happens if you have 2 accounts that have max pages. Well, we're going to have to be forced to extend that to 40. But we'll also have to look and see if it's necessary as well. Realistically, I can't imagine anybody's going to have that many account pages. And if you do, bless you, because that's not cheap. But still permanent, so that's why it's priced what it is. So yeah, we are doing a server merge. We just have to consider things like what we're going to merge. I'll tell you right now, there's a good chance, because the discussion has come up, that we're not going to preserve any clan data. So you will have to recreate your clan, re-level it back up, re-invite all your friends, all that stuff. The reason why is because clan data is a little messy when it comes to data, and trying to merge it might not go over so great. So it's a little bit on our part in the sense of trying to make things easier, but it's not for certain yet. We will see if it's necessary or not. Just the initial discussions where it might be necessary, just based off of the little we know about how clan data is stored and stuff like that. So yeah, that is like the only thing at current that I can say may not get merged over. Otherwise, we're going to make sure that we preserve character data, item data, storage data, currency is really everything. Everything in the sense of you will preserve those items and everything that you've done to work for on your character. We'll have to talk about what happens when you have conflicting character names. We'll talk about what our options are, and we'll probably pose a question to the community regarding what they may feel is most acceptable. And then the last thing we'll probably end up going over internally and with the community is the new server name. Because we're not going to merge either of the servers into each other. We're going to take both of the servers' data and smash them together into a completely new server. So Leonis and Draconis as world names will no longer exist.
I'm going to throw out Shazam. I think that's a great name. Yeah. Just throwing that there.
If you can find a constellation called that, go for it. Right now, the naming schemes that we have for our server names have been named after constellations. So we would like to keep that, because the whole Rose Online Russian 7 episodes is a planetary astral body type of thing. So we kind of liked the idea of keeping that as a theme, and or at least keeping it more towards the world of Rose. So maybe we'll just call it Aura.
That wouldn't be bad. And eventually one would be Hayburn or Hebron. How do you pronounce that?
Hebron, Hebron.
Alright.
I'm like getting mesmerized by this cat in a cup.
It's pretty fantastic. I think that's why we have so many viewers right now. It's just they like go ahead and a gift of a cat in a cup.
Oh, there's a cat in a cup. Cat in a cup.
Alright, thank you for that question, Galactic Arrows. I do see a few more questions related to the server merge, but once again, guys, we appreciate those questions, but we're not saying they're not close, but right now the focus, what I would say, is getting the server stability up to 100%, and from there we can start to discuss or think more about it. Would you say, Leonis?
I mean, I'm okay with sitting and talking, like, honestly, for a while, but PD Fisher asked, specifically about the fact that she has full characters, or she, I'm actually not sure, has full characters on both servers between Leonis and Draconis. What's going to happen with the character overflow? Well, that's one of those considerations that we have, that we're gonna have to have, because we don't want you to lose anything. With the database update, we should be able to preserve all of that and just extend that into the merge, but just to say that does fall into the whole, what do we do, how do we treat it. More than likely, I'm going to be fighting for everything getting preserved. Just the things that are like kind of impossible to preserve are issues of same name. You can't have the same name. There has to be something different. What do you do? Okay, girl, you're a girl. I don't know these things. I have such a bad memory for things like that. To me, gender is not so much important as it is the person you are, and PD Fisher's been a wonderful person. So thank you.
I 100% concur. We'll take about 10 more minutes of questions. Fortunately, I do wish, at least for me, I had all the time in the world, but there are other things I need to address today. So we'll take about 10 more minutes of questions. Yeah.
Whatever.
So, whatever, man.
Whatever. You're just spawning monsters in the game.
I'm not doing anything. So with that, I guess if you want to talk about it, Leonis, speaking of the future of Rose from B-Talks, when are there going to be new planets?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Next question. You're wrong, B-Talks. Get out of here.
No, B-Talks. The scheduling of content for new planets is something that we're gonna have to do when we get there. We've been a little bit more focused on trying to kind of get some of the gaps in content that we have right now, and flush out the current contents, make sure that there's actually like good game content. We have the desire to expand out into the new planets, but the various considerations we have to adding a new planet, we've learned from when we did Orlo. When we launched Orlo lacked a lot of content, and we spent a lot of time trying to kind of catch up to that, and even now looking at what Orlo has to offer, it seems fairly barren. So learning from that experience, we want to make sure that if we do go into a new planet, we want to be very sure that we have content for everyone that's not just fun and enjoyable, but that'll last a while and really will dig into the features that we've been working on and working towards, so that everybody can really enjoy it and not be a little, I don't know what's the word, feel like it's a little lackluster.
All right. Well, thank you for that question. Let's kind of go to question from Calvin. I like that. How about players not affected by the missing items, etc.? Can they have the option to not be rolled back?
Unfortunately, no. We cannot allow or even consider the idea of selectively not rolling back characters because, well, one, it's unfair, and then two, it's kind of we're restoring the data that was saved, and we're not doing it selectively, like we're putting a checkbox next to everybody's name. We're taking all the data and we're saying use this data from this point. So yeah, it's sorry. I am sorry. I know we're laughing, but I am sorry. If it were possible for us to be able to selectively say, you know what, you were a good player, you didn't do anything wrong, nothing bugged on you, nothing crashed, nothing, nothing went wrong, you're totally fine, you can just continue on. I'd love to do that. But the nature of how we're actually going to be restoring all the character data is we are literally just, well, not literally, but we're essentially swapping the data files of a backup and putting that into what will be used for the live service. So we will have no real ability to selectively do that without like a lot of complications and extra effort. So it's not something that we're able to do.
All right. Well, so thank you so much for that question, Calvin. Yeah. So
what was Maro Philippe? What was his question?
Oh,
he's all sad that he didn't get his question answered.
Chat's been pretty busy today, which I greatly appreciate. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'll also mention that before the stream ends, I'll be killing off Queen Kara. So if you guys want to have tiny astronaut wings for a bit, or maybe possibly super fighter gear, head over to Draconis and head over to Junon to see, or to possibly get it. Maybe this one, a question: if you guys merge the servers, what kind of system you guys will do? Example channels or just one channel?
Ah.
I love that answer.
I was looking at the question because he reposted it.
Oh, okay.
But he went to, OMG, he said my name!
Oh, okay. It's like the radio, oh my god.
oh, the system we're going to use. Are we going to use multiple channels, or it's going to be one channel? We're looking at one channel. Just basically, it'll be you log into the world and you'll just go straight to the character server. If it comes down to the need to open up another channel, we'll consider it. But there were issues that we had when we had multiple channels before, and I would honestly I'd like to not see that happen again. The channel hopping, farming, and grievances that happened were not that pleasant. So to begin with, we're gonna keep with one channel. So it'll just be essentially one world to rule them all. Sorry, what? I blacked out for a moment.
Yeah. Let's answer this very complex question from Black Swan Down. Very clever. Could you make a stream about wooden swords?
Yes, but we're not going to.
Just to spite you.
Just live in disappointment.
Okay. I like that. But yes, who asked that? Crystalis or Crystalis88. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm terrible with that. Regarding the rollback, Leonis did mention earlier in the stream that they are shooting it for tomorrow, Thursday, possibly. So we'll definitely keep you updated if that occurs, or if we need it maybe just another day, and so forth. But yeah, is there anything else you want to address, Leonis, before we end today's awesome stream?
I mean, there's a lot of things that we have on the horizon. Even though with all this happening around us, we still have to kind of move forward and plan towards what's coming in the future. I mentioned earlier in the stream, we're thinking about expanding on the gem system. There's actually another larger feature implementation that we're going to be working on. And because this is an additive feature, not changing something that exists, I expect much less issue with its implementation. But it's kind of going into how you harvest for crafting materials, and then expanding on things to do within the players' community and economy. It's not fully fleshed out at this point. I'm still speaking with some of the class representatives for the dealer, the artisans, because it is going to heavily affect them. But in general, it's going to open up a lot of more possibilities on character customization, in-game activities, as far as like it's referred to as content because it's something to do, but it'll open it up so that you can harvest, craft, collect, farm for certain crafting materials. Without necessarily going into any combat. So for the non-combat minded players, this will probably come as one of those really enjoyed features, so that you can be part of the game, part of the economy, and not have to be combat minded. We tried doing that once back when we first did the crafting update, so that crafting gave experience, but it really only affected the dealers and the artisans that were crafting minded. And I know that's a lot of what the class was originally based off of, but we've been looking at it on a little bit more of a broader sense for what the gameplay actually is, trying to make sure that everyone can kind of be included in that gameplay. And so we're going to see if we can kind of adjust the concept of what it is to be a crafter, and look at them more as being like an architect or an engineer, somebody who creates something for the use of others, whether they give it to others to use or use it themselves to benefit others. So we'll be working on fleshing that out a lot more, and on getting that information out. And as Genesis said, yes, so many awesome ideas, so little time. Being the small team we are, we have to pick and choose what the next features we implement are, and that's kind of right now hailed as one of those system features that would offer a lot of fresh gameplay. That's new to the community and new to the gameplay, but keeps things kind of familiar at the same time.
Awesome.
That's a lot of chat going by. I'm having a hard time reading it all.
All right. Well, with that, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in today's stream regarding about the planned rollback and also the current state of Rose Online. We greatly appreciate your time and your eyeballs for watching the stream as well. Yeah, we'll probably do another stream relatively soon. I want to say once maybe the rollback has gone through and everything's kind of settled down. We might just talk a little bit more about the future of Rose and so forth. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day, Leonis.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
And thank you once again, viewers. We'll keep this video archived for future views, and we might even post it on Facebook because it is kind of a big deal. But thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.